darkness to light, celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut with our Israeli brothers and sisters and teens from around the world, Israel Independence Day. So why do we take teens to Poland? Not to make them suffer, not to teach them to hate, but to teach them what hate can do. To speak for those whose voices were silenced. Evil did not succeed. Oh, how we cried and prayed for God to help us. But it was man that built the gas chambers and crematoria. It was ordinary people and countries. And now, most recently, a member of Congress suggests that Jews control the world, care only about money, and have loyalty to Israel over the United States. Do we specifically call out her anti-Semitism and show that we have learned the lessons of history? What's happening in our country should alarm us all. We must condemn anti-Semitism. The Shoah started with words, not ovens. Words matter. For generations, words have had dangerous consequences. For me, my family, and for the Jewish people. What starts with the Jews does not end with the Jews. Let me end with a poem I wrote after my first trip. Reflections on the march. It tears at my heart, it rips at my soul to watch our children sob without control, to see barracks after barracks filled with shoes and human hair, mounds of suitcases and brushes, like an unbelievable nightmare. If the world had only cared, how many could have lived? But the silence proved fatal. For them, we can't forgive. So many questions begin to rise. If we don't speak out, if we remain passive, 6 million lives will cease to live. With lumps in our throats, with tears in our eyes, humanity's past just can't be denied. We must remember our past, and we won't let it happen again. If not us, who? And if not now, when? Thank you.
Since the fall of the Berlin Wall, the Soviet Union went down, and many archives and records from World War II that had never been released before were finally released. And scholars now tell us that 6 million is a low number, and it may be closer to 7. The number is incomprehensible. In a small town in Tennessee where there are no Jews, a teacher decided to try and teach about the Shoah. And she found that her students didn't understand that number of 6 million. So they started a project. If you Google 6 million paperclips, you will find out more about the project. The small, totally Jewish-free town in Tennessee. They started to collect paperclips. One paperclip for each individual killed. You will be amazed at what it looks like to see 6 million paperclips in one place. It brought home to those students what the number really meant to them. No matter what is said, no matter how often we speak of it, the horrors of the Shoah cannot truly be felt by those who are alive today, who were not there. Our minds cannot wrap themselves around the facts. And the truth is also really hard to accept, that in the beginning, it was words, not acts. In the beginning, no one really believed that those words would ever be carried out. That words could mean so much. That words could hurt so many. That's the message of the Shoah. As Rose just said, words matter. Hatred cannot stand unopposed. It's not a political issue. It is a human issue. Jews have been the canaries in the mine shaft throughout history. When the Jewish community has been attacked, shortly afterwards others have been attacked. Anti-Semitic acts have risen by 37% in the last 18 months here in the United States. It's an astounding number. And thankfully, more and more people are coming around to understand that they cannot stand silently by when they occur. And they are speaking out and rallying against the hatred. We're almost at the conclusion of our program. We will conclude with the prayers for the dead, the Omale Rachamim, a special mourner's Kaddish for the Yom HaShoah. But we will end on a theme of hope by singing Hatikva, Israel's national anthem. At this time, I ask you to please rise. כזוהר כמזלים, הנשמות הקדושים, הטהורים שישמדו, שנחרבו, שנשחטו, ושנחשרפו, שנפעו, ושנתענקו, על קידוש השם. ויבואו שתן צדקה ביד הזכרת נשמותיכם וגדנתם מנוחתם וכן ברחמים נסתירם בסתר כנפיך ליועלמים תצרו בצרור החיים ונשמותם ענבו נחלתם ינוח בשלום המשקופם ונאמר אמן. Lord our God, full of mercy, who dwells on high, grant proper rest on the wings of the divine presence in the lofty levels of the holy and the pure ones, who shine like the glow of the firmament. For the souls of the holy and pure ones who were killed, murdered, slaughtered, burned, drowned, and strangled, for the sanctification of the name. We pledge tzedakah, charity and righteousness in remembrance of their souls. May their resting place be in the Garden of Eden. Therefore, may the Master of Mercy shelter them in the shelter of God's wings for eternity. May God bind their souls in the bond of life. Hashem Adonai, God is their heritage. May they repose in peace on their resting places, and let us respond. Please join me. Rose. Yitgadal.
Auschwitz.
V'yitkadash.
Lodge.
Shemei Rabbah.
Onar.
Yalma Divrach Yirutei.
Bobby Yar,
Yamif Machute,
Maidanek,
Achaye Chon Yamichon,
Birkenau,
Uchaye de Chol Israel,
Kogno,
Bagalavis Man Kariv,
Yanowska,
Yimru Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabban Vorach Vilamome Omaya. Yiparak Bishtabach,
Theresienstadt,
Yipa Arabi Troman,
Buchenwald,
Vitnase Vitadar,
Treblinka,
Vitale Vitalal,
Vilna,
Shnei de Grusha,
Bergen-Belsen,
Rich Kul Ela,
Mauthausen,
Nkol Birchata Bashirata,
Dachau,
Tush Birchata Benechemata,
Minsk,
Damiran Bioma,
Barsha,
Yimru Amen. Please join me. Yehe Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, Echaim Aleinu Yal Kol Yisrael Yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom Yimru
Say shalom. Hallelujah. Kol Yisrael. Amen.
Please remain standing for the singing of Hatikvah. The words of Hatikvah translate as follows. As long as in its innermost heart the Jewish soul yearns, and toward the eastern corner to Zion his eyes look out, and our hope is not yet lost. Our hope of 2,000 years to be a free people in our own land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem. We end this program with the hope that it helps to eradicate hate in our time, that the memories will serve as an impetus to action, to stand up and be counted among the righteous, who speak out when words of hate are uttered, when acts of hate are perpetuated. And the Almighty says, may you bind them up in the bonds of life. That is our duty. It is our obligation. It is our right. And only through our actions and words can we do that. May their souls rest